Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. And what are we getting back into? We are getting back into Married at First Sight Australia. We are now on series 11 and we are now on episode 8. I'm moving with these episodes. Anyway, before we get into these episodes, as I always ask, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so you know I'm on and doing videos. And let's get into this episode, shall we? So as it's filtered off from the other one, we know the tasks between the couples are continuing to be done. So we know that Natalie and Collins is now back in the game. I don't know why they came back. Well, I don't know why Natalie came back, to be fair, because it would have been all about self-preservation. And as I said in my last episode, I just believe that they're like a glutton for freaking punishment, because Collins really ain't in it with this girl. Like, really ain't in it with this girl. You see Tori making the bed and basically saying to Jack that it's going to come a time where he's going to have to help her with this or do it himself, in that sense, because she may not be able to do it. Jack ain't bothered. Jack is just hella lazy. It wouldn't surprise me if Jack has got probably home keep or some type of home help when he's at home, because he doesn't look like he does any type of housework in the slightest. So then we go to Andrea and Richard. And all I'm going to say is when they did the photo ranking task, things changed, but more so changed with Andrea when Richard was getting hella gung-ho into his picks and why he picked his picks, right? So I think she turns around and she voices her concerns or how she felt in regards to that task to Richard. And Richard is literally like, you know, just taken on board what she said and has turned around, and because he did not realise that she felt a kind of way about the way in which the rankings were done or the tasks that they did do. So he's basically going around making her feel better. He knows that he needs to do something to make her feel better, because his intentions was not to upset her with that experience in the slightest. But they should always know when it comes to these type of tasks, someone is going to get their feelings hurt. There's going to be some underlying issue where they're going to get their feelings hurt, especially when it comes to you as an older person ranking younger girls against the wife that you've got, in that sense. So there is going to be a little bit of I wouldn't even say competition in terms of Andrea. She's just going to feel more self-conscious and self-aware of how she looks against all the beauties, as she says, that are within the experiment. Eden and Jaden haven't really spoke since the confession of the letter thing, and I think that's more so due to the fact of the compulsive action that he took with his ex, but then also the fact that he turned around and said that he didn't regret it. He didn't actually see what was wrong with his behaviour at that moment in time when they first spoke. So Eden has a chat with him and basically says to him that, you know, she felt that he was proud of it. So he explained that he kept getting hurt and it took him to a dark place, basically. So then he started to, as they were talking, acknowledge that it was a bit of a weird extreme for him to go to. And she was saying being irrational doesn't work for her. And if he did do that in the relationship that they have, say if they continued with their marriage, and, you know, she's not a perfect person, as she says later on in another episode, if things did go wrong, how would he then react to that? That's her major concern. So he basically says that he has a lot of work in terms of using his head and not his emotions when it becomes heightened. All I'm going to say is we'll see. We'll see if he's learned from it. We will see. Action speak louder than words, and proof is in the pudding at the end of the day. If you really want to change your behaviours, you would show it in your actions. You would show it in the way that you speak, and you would show it in the way that you show it to the partner that you're with. So Collins and Natalie still living separately, but Natalie has come down to his room in order to do the ranking tasks. So when they hug each other, it's still awkward as hell. I feel like it's just friends with Collins, it is just a friendship thing, but he is not willing to tell Natalie it's just a friendship thing, because at the end of the day, for some reason, Collins wants to stay in this experiment. Woe betide how Natalie feels. He just wants to stay in this experiment. So they do the ranking task, and he puts all the girls up in order of where he wants them to be. All I'm saying is Cassandra's getting a looking with these guys. They're all, as it should be, they're all seeing her as the gorgeous beauty that she is, and her rankings are quite high with other people's husbands, which I was quite surprised about, but I'm glad it happened. But yeah, so when he's ranking her, right, he does put it in order of where he wants everybody to be. And then Natalie wanted to see where he would put her. He puts Natalie first, but he doesn't give a good enough reason as to why he put Natalie first. Yes, it's a great feeling for Natalie that he put her first, but Natalie doesn't trust him. Natalie believes that he's taken the easy way out and is only doing it because he thinks that's what she wants. She would have rather have been truthful in his ranking than untruthful, which I think is what he did in a little bit, because he's already known that this girl's left this experiment. He's left this experiment. He doesn't want that to happen again. But mark my words, it will, because Collins is not being true to himself and Natalie is starting to see through him. Tori, as I said, will continue not to see the red flags in Jack, because she is convinced that they are this power couple, like absolutely convinced that they are this power couple. Because as I've seen, like in the previous episodes at the dinner party and episodes to come, which I will talk about more, is she will easily kowtow to Jack in terms of his view on how he wants her to be. And I'll explain more in the next episode, because you see it more in the commitment ceremony when she looks to him, when she talks, where she doesn't talk until he expressly says, oh, do you want to take that one? So things like that. But yet she'll be ballsy and jump defensively to anybody else who tries to put their mouth into their relationship, also to the experts, but she don't do it to Jack. She does not do it to Jack. I don't know what that is about, but we'll see how far she can take this in this experiment, because I'm telling you, Jack don't want this girl. Jack does not want this girl. All he heard was control freak. She likes to be in control and she's fiercely independent. And all he heard was, I'ma break this girl. I'm a breaker to the way that I want her to be. And he's starting that process already, and we can see it in their interactions and how she behaves with him. Ellie and Ben do the values. So they have 12 key traits to place in order, most important to the top and then to the least. So basically, Ellie is definitely family orientated. She wants a partner in crime. She wants a family, and for her, children is a must. She's not saying that she will go out and fucking have children here, there and everywhere with someone, but she is saying that within her plan, she wants children, so children is a must for her. Ben, I'ma say, is a dickhead. Ben is a dickhead. Because as soon as he said in his VC that your values and beliefs are important, but they can change over time, I thought it doesn't bode well. Doesn't bode well for this task at all. So this man put having great conversation as number one. And then the next one down was healthy lifestyle. And I thought, okay, so where's he going to put family? Because he gave the impression to Ellie that he was this family orientated man. He was at the point where he really wanted to settle down. But within this task, that is not being seen in any way, shape or form. So now I'm wondering if Ellie's cousin Jordan was right about the intentions of Ben, because I don't think he's there for the truest of intentions, especially in terms of being married to someone. So he put family right down at the bottom. Ben is basically saying that he doesn't want to settle down at all, and he's open to someone who doesn't want children, but then in the next breath he will say he's open to the possibility of someone who wants a family and having kids. Ben don't want children. Like he don't want a family, and if he does, he doesn't want it with Ellie. He really doesn't want it with Ellie. I'm saying this, and I'm saying this clearly, that Ben being in this experiment is a means to an end for him. It's basically more so to highlight his business and his profile. That is how I'm seeing it at the end of the day, because he believes it's a quick it's a quick tool for him to either get famous through it, or for his name to get known and more followers and more people engaging with his business at the end of the day. That's where I'm seeing it, because his attitude does not speak of he wants to be married or he wants to start any type of family. He basically asked her about the possibility of not having kids. And I thought to myself, why is this man trying to play devil's advocate with this woman? At the end of the day, she said she wants a family. She ain't gonna freaking run around trying to pick somebody to have babies with. She's not that fucking stupid. She's not gonna open her legs to every Tom, Dick and Harry. But her main goal is to have a family. Because Ellie does get upset. She does get upset through this conversation. He has the audacity to turn around and call her an emotional woman. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this man? Like, seriously, what the fuck is wrong with Ben? What is wrong with Ben? Like, seriously? He don't want children. He don't want children. Ellie's saying that she's out if he doesn't want children. He's already telling you, my love, that he don't want children. He's already laying that foundation for you at the end of the day. So Ben is saying he's open to having children. But as I said, that's different to wanting them at the end of the day. So my thing is, throughout this whole speech, I don't know if he was using a little bit of gaslighting against this girl, like, seriously. So my guy turned around and said, children are important to females. The fucker said females. Children are important to females. That's why he believes Ellie was getting upset. But it's the fact he used the term females. Someone needs to come and get their man. Like, seriously, someone needs to come and hog tie this dude right here and come take their man away, because yeah, nah, he ain't the one. He ain't the one or the motherfucking two, to be fair. So then we get to Lucinda and Tim, and they're doing the same task regards to their 12 key traits. Now, with them, they actually had similarities. Tim, of course, is not very comfortable with Lucinda's touchy-feely, and he does like a little bit of space, but he hasn't told her this yet. So he did come in first with flowers for her and brought the envelope with the values task, basically. So Tim said the biggest gap between them two is the fact that she's put higher up, being good in bed as high, his is quite low. And I'm just like, Tim, you're not selling yourself at the moment. Like, seriously, are you trying to tell this woman that if you do both happen to be in bed, that she's sorely going to be disappointed? Is that what he's doing? He's trying to put that out into the atmosphere, that Lucinda, if they end up doing the horizontal mambo, he's going to be absolutely disappointed with him, because she was talking to him about wanting to go to some tantric sex retreat and do whatever, and asking him if he wants to go, and he's like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I wouldn't want to do that really anyway. That does not interest me. But Lucinda is very much open like that. But it scares him. Like, it fully scares him that Lucinda is so much sexual than he is. In that sense, she's very in tune to her needs, her wants, and what she likes and what she don't like. She's very in tune to that. So then we move to Cassandra and Tristan. Now, if Slow Burn was ever a couple, it would be these two. But they are genuine with each other. Cassandra is kind of worried in terms of how Tristan is not really affectionate with her and doesn't make the first move. So she does speak to Tristan about that. And basically he turned around and said to her that she'd be the one that would have to make the first move on him, because he wouldn't necessarily do that with her. Cassandra, it looks like he's going to have to come out of her own comfort zone, because right now she doesn't have a full explanation as to why Tristan is being that way. So she's questioning things surrounding that. So them two have the confessions letter writing task. So Tristan basically wrote his letter in regards to Cassandra, talking about the reasons why he doesn't make the first move. and this is something that he would necessarily have to work on and try and push himself out of his own boundaries. But this situation has affected him for the last 30 years in terms of when he was overweight, and the fact that he had a lot of rejection from that and people laughing at him and making fun of him, which then in turn made him feel worthless and internalized everything inside of him. So he feels that he's ugly, even though he is a handsome man, very handsome man. Him looking in the mirror, he hates himself, he doesn't like himself. And the word hate is a very strong word. And this is why I think with these types of shows, when you have people like this, because I see it as a growing pattern with these types of shows, that the people that come on here are either fucking abusive, to be fair, in their attitudes and behaviours, or they're very much damaged and they haven't really worked on themselves. They haven't really put that stepping stone in place in regards to how to build in strategies to support them when they're feeling overwhelmed or when they have anxieties or anything like that. They're quite damaged people, but yet they still allow them to make applications to these types of shows where it is quite intensive and the spotlight is on them and they have to kind of work through everything at a quicker pace. So I don't understand why these shows, once they understand that these people do have these types of needs in regards to either their emotions, their mental health, anything else, that they don't put something in place for them throughout the show. Because I remember when these Married at First Sight first started, and they used to have a sociologist, they used to have a psychologist in there, they used to have all types of experts in there, and the experts would be on hand as well when the couples needed that support, or if they needed someone to talk to in that essence. They should put that back. Like, seriously, for these ones, they should put that back, because these are essentially damaged people who would then go on to damage more people in their wake if they've not dealt with their feelings and expressions appropriately. And Tristan hasn't, in the way that he looks at himself, and he probably needed help and support around that. So, because then the onus of supporting him, because as Cassandra said, after listening to him and his letter and why he doesn't make the first new move, it makes all sense to her. But the onus of trying to support him and try and breathe life into him would be put on Cassandra, which isn't fair on her. Because then as time goes on, if he's not taken on board and actually accepting what she's saying in the fact of how she sees him, yeah, and taking on that positive, she's just going to fuck off and leave him alone. She isn't going to want to deal with it, because that's too much pressure then placed on her head and her shoulders. But hey ho, who am I? Who am I? So then it pans back to Lucinda and Tim. And Tim is talking about his dog and that he misses her a lot. And that she is quite a needy person. Like, every time he walks in, the dog don't leave him alone. And I thought, hold on. Is Tim actually comparing his dog to Lucinda in terms of the fact that she don't leave him alone? And he fucking was. But Lucinda didn't take it badly in the slightest. And I thought, oh fuck no, that would have, I would have taken that to heart. Like, how dare you compare me to your fucking dog? Like, seriously. All he needs to do is say to her that he needs space, because in a roundabout way, he was telling Lucinda that he just needs her to back off a little bit because she's too full on. But him comparing Lucinda to his dog is beyond weird. It's a beyond weird comparison to me. It's the last day of Confessions Week, and you see Jack is giving Tori some different vibes. Now, you see, for me, with Jack and how he behaves with Tori, I think it's a case of he sucks her in, then pushes her back. He literally does find ways in which to tear her down bit by bit. That's how I'm seeing it. I don't trust Jack in the slightest. I don't even think Jack is actually attracted to Tori, but he wants to see how far he can take his rubbish with her, and she's allowing him to do that at the end of the day. So it does pan to Tristan and Cassandra, and Cassandra does say to Tristan that she felt honoured that he trusted her enough in order to say what he needed to say. So he does like Cassandra and believes that she's an absolute catch. Tristan did raise a concern in regards to them probably kissing, and then what if there's a spark is not there? How do they move on from there? I'm like, my guy, you need to kiss the girl first. You actually need to kiss the girl first and see what'll go on, because right now you ain't even made a move on the girl. So for you to be talking about getting worried about whether there'll be a spark or not is a mute point. Kiss the girl. And he ended up doing it. He did. He ended up picking her up a daffodil and sitting down, putting his arm around her, and he did. He gave her a good peck on the cheek, the lips. He was carrying on like it was the most spectacular kiss in the world, and I thought, my God, you didn't even get down to the brass knuckles. It was just a peck on the lips. But hey, at least he made the first move. At least he made the first move, and Cassandra was happy that he made the first move. So then it moves to Lauren and Jonathan with their photo ranking task. I'm gonna say, like, I like Lauren. I do like Lauren. I like Lauren, I like Lucinda, I like Cassandra, I do like Tristan, even though he's a bit of a talker. I'm just saying the people that I like right now, but I do. So she puts Tim first, and she put Colin second, and I was like, oh, okay. I was kind of shocked by that, because Collins, even though he's a handsome guy, would not be my cup of tea in the slightest, but okay, it's whatever floats your boat at this time. Then she put Jaden next, and I was kind of like, yeah, Lauren's way too into this. Lauren's way too into this rubbish. Because then I thought to myself, hold on then, where's she going to place Jonathan? Because I'm kind of thinking, if she's way into this, then maybe she'll place Jonathan a bit further down that line. When it came to Ben and Jack, she sees through their bullshit, like completely sees through their bullshit, and that's another reason why I like Lauren. She sees through the crap that these people tried to put forward. So then Jonathan goes next, and he kept on, or his only word, his key word was, everyone was so lovely. And I'm like, how many times can this man say lovely in one breath? Like, seriously, because everybody, oh, they're just lovely. Yeah, she's quite good looking, but she's also lovely. Lauren does calls him out on it and says, can he use a different type of adjective or whatever it is she said, rather than just the word lovely. So then they get to them two, and then they put each other's pictures down, and both of them put their pictures first. Like, you know, they're fully in at the moment. They're fully in at the moment, and I'm liking it. So then it moves back to Lucinda and Tim. So Tim has now finally, at long last, had the conversation with Lucinda where he said he wanted space. In turn, that made Lucinda feel very rejected, because Lucinda has to literally be up in someone's space. Sometimes I think, because of how Lucinda is, that she's very tactile, she knows her wants, her wishes, her feelings and stuff like that, and Tim isn't. Tim is a little bit standoffish when it comes to that. He doesn't like that all the time. He's kind of like me. If you keep pressing for it, I'm gonna keep going in the other direction, but if you stop pressing for it, then maybe I'll start to walk towards you and give you, like, feed into some of those wants and needs that you have. But she feels completely hurt and rejected by Tim. I'm like, she's kind of not listening to his wants and needs as well, and kind of meeting in the middle, because Lucinda is a very full-on person. If that's not something you're used to, then you're not going to take it too well in that sense, and you are going to want to take space. So basically, Tim gets up and goes and has a chat with her, because he can feel that there's been a change in the atmosphere between them both. So again, as I said, Lucinda just sit down and tell him that she feels hurt, and then ask him, well, what are you doing to be more romantically connected with her? And sometimes I think with Lucinda, she could be kind of flogging a dead horse when it comes to Tim, because you kind of can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink at the end of the day, and this is what's happening with Tim. But Tim does kind of need to give her something. I can see him giving her some instances, like when he brought the flowers in for her just because, when he gives her little hugs and kisses just because. So he's slowly but surely showing stuff. He's saying that he's a slow burner, but as I've already said, I believe that if that man was with someone that he was fizzling with, like really on point with, there'd be no slow burn in that man's role. Let me put it that way. I do think Lucinda can kind of be needy at times, but she's saying that she doesn't think that there is sexual tension between them or any type of flirting. He's saying give it time, and I'm kind of like, well, how much time do you need, Tim? How much time do you need? So Lucinda was right in asking, like, it's been 2 weeks now, how much time do you need? And he says it could, in his visa, it could take up to maybe like 4, maybe 8 weeks. He wants her to be patient with him. And I'm just like, she has the patience of a motherfucking saint right now. I mean, you're telling me you've been with this woman for 2 weeks and you ain't feeling not a bean? Like, not even an inkling to push forward? I mean, when you said slow burn, flipping heck, you diced the bloody nib of that fucking rocket team. Like, seriously? So she's basically saying that she just wants to be able to be closer to Tim, but she doesn't feel like Tim is listening to her at all. And I'm just like, it's one of those, you can't push it and you can't force it. At the end of the day, it's just got to happen naturally. You just, even if you wait for him and it's not happening, then you know it's not happening. It's been 2 weeks and it's not happening, so I don't think it is going to happen for them. To be fair, I really don't. So then we move to Sarah and Tim. And she basically entered this experiment Sarah did to get over her ex. And I'm kind of like, well, how does that work? Why would you enter an experiment in order to marry someone to stop yourself from going back to your ex? Because when you get onto the outside world and you're doing your day-to-day, say if she does stay with Tim, she's still going to have the issue with her ex, where he's going to think, because he's done it so many times before and she's done it so many times before, that he can kind of usurp himself within their marriage like that. And then it'll be up to Sarah to say, well, no, I am not doing that and I'm not going there. So they ended up having the letter task. So Tim basically pens down exactly what his fears and insecurities are when it came to his past relationship, and knows that he's carried on basically. So he is literally dealing with a lot of betrayal. And this is what I mean when I've already talked about, I've just watched people that are not mindfully healthy people in the slightest apply to these shows and get on these shows and have not dealt with any bits of their trauma that they come in with. So Tim does talk about being gaslit, the fact that he was manipulated, so trust will be a hurdle for him that he has to then work through. Sarah, of course, will completely understand because she's been through the same thing with her ex in that sense. So then the other task comes in to fuck shit up a little bit, and it's the phone swapping task. So Tim, gung-ho, happy, yeah, nothing on my phone, you can have it, you can look at it. Do you think Sarah returned in kind? No, she didn't. Because basically she said, I have not given you any reason not to trust me, so I don't think it should be good enough for me to give you my phone. At the end of the day, she really did not want to do this task. Now, my thing is now you're giving him a reason not to trust you, so you just defeated the whole point of the task. At the end of the day, it was about trust. So Tim is asking her, so is there anything I'm going to see on there from like other guys? Have you been mentioning other guys like that? She's like, no. What about your ex? Have you been messaging him? Like, no. Since she's come out, like, no. And I'm like, well, if there's nothing untoward on there, just give him the rotted phone then at the end of the day, because you ain't got nothing to hide. If you got nothing to hide, give him the phone. He was more than willing to give you his phone. He went fussed in the slightest. But no, Sarah's like, nah, she ain't doing it. So he left it there. Tim is going to try and give her the benefit of the doubt. But I think Tim has already those doubts in his mind, but he's too afraid to tell Sarah what those doubts are, basically, because her behaviours were not conducive to someone that you would give full trust to at the end of the day. Me, myself, if I had to call something, I believe that Sarah was probably messaging back and forth with her ex while she's been in there. That's how I'm seeing it anyway. I think that's probably what he would find, recent text messages between her and her ex. But we'll never know now. We'll never know. Go to Tori and Jack, and they do the ranking task. Jack is hella excited at this prospect, like proper excited at the prospect of doing this ranking task, because Jack is an absolute prick. He's a misogynistic twat at the end of the day, and that's how I'm seeing it. He really is. So he put Cassandra and Elliot at the top in his top 3 because he likes dark-haired women. His type is dark-haired women and big boobs, I think he said. Yeah, he would pick a brunette over blonde any day. My guy, what colour hair does your wife have? Like, seriously, what colour hair does your wife have? But you're trying to say that you're attracted to this girl and you ain't. He isn't. He is not. He is not. So then he sits there, like, cussing out Lauren. Now, Lauren is meant to be friends with Tori, or should I say Tori is meant to be friends with Lauren, but she's allowing this man to cuss her friend out and talk about her like she's Big Bird. I'm like, you know what? That's fucked up for that. That is absolutely fucked up for that. Tori just sat there laughing at the fuck shit that he was saying about her. So basically he turns around and he says, before he places Tori, he then says to Tori, do you agree that you're the hottest? So she turns around and says yes, and he says, why? I'm like, Tori, tell this man to stop dicking around and place your photo. You don't have to justify why you believe that you're the hottest. At the end of the day, he's married to you. As your husband, he should see those attributes in you. Why do you have to convince him why he should put you above all the other girls that he's put there first? This is what I'm saying. This man's taking a piss. This man's taking a piss. He's chipping away. Like, literally starting to goodness. She's saying that she's not insecure. She doesn't feel insecure in regards to how she looks and how she brings herself across. But basically, she said it would take a real asshole to make her feel not secure in her skin. And I'm like, but that's what Jack is doing to you. Right now, you can't feel it, but he's consistently chipping away at you. And you're consistently jumping to his motherfucking beat. See, because again, I told ya, it's because Tori sees them as a perfect match. She completely sees them as a perfect match. And that is the blanket of all blankets. That is, as if that's solidified in her mind, that's not going to change her mind. Anything that this man does from here on out is not going to change her mind that they are a perfect match. No matter what anybody else says, no matter the fuck shit that he brought in regards to the girl and the article, she's literally, that has gone straight over her head. Straight over her head. I'm like, you know what? You're gonna get what you asked for at the end of the day. Because I don't trust Jack. I don't trust him. I really don't. I really don't. I wouldn't want to see Tori get hurt through his actions, but she at this point in time is choosing to ignore the little I want to say red flags, but I don't want to say red flags. The little signs that she's getting from him right now that can be quite concerning once you lump them all together. But you know what? She's going to live and she's going to learn at the end of the day. And that is where that episode ended. But I'll be back very soon with the next episode. As I always say, my renegades, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so you know I'm on and doing videos. And I'll speak to you all again soon. Peace out.